Good morning. I want to call this meeting of the Clackamas County Commission to order and ask if you would rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This morning, as an added attraction, because it is Earthquake Awareness Month, we have Sarah Stegmiller here with to tell us a little bit about what you might want to consider having in your earthquake preparation kit, which you should have in your car and at your home. And I will turn it over to you,
Great.
Sarah.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, with Earthquake Awareness Month, we wanted to tell you a little bit about what goes into a disaster supply kit. It is recommended that you have enough supplies for a full week's worth of time. You can do something such as buy an online purchased kit, such as this. But it's also really easy to grab a pillowcase and go around your home and grab items that can contribute to your kit. So that's what we've done to give you a short, quick example of some things you could think about putting. You'll notice some of these items that are very standard and go in those kinds of kits, tarps, space blankets. But personalizing your kit is also really important. So we've included things like playing cards. And all of this assortment here is just to give you ideas. A self-crank flashlight, it doesn't require batteries, so you can power it without having electricity or a battery. An assortment of food. We have some tuna, some SpaghettiOs. So picking out what you like and what works for you is really important so that you or your family member or your pet isn't having to eat something that's detestable. Having things like duct tape and gloves is always important. A multifunction tool comes in handy. Of course, water is really important. Commissioner Lehan mentioned having things in your car, and having water in your car, at your home, in your workplace is really important because that's one of those things that we may not have if we do have a widespread damaging earthquake. We have some standard stuff such as toilet paper, perhaps an extra pair of glasses, the always handy hand sanitizer. This is a NOAA weather radio, which is really good to have because it allows you to keep in touch with what's going on during a disaster if everything else is not working. Having a thumb drive that you have some important documents shared on and you throw in your kit is really valuable. Someone told me recently that they took theirs to their safe deposit box and put it in there because they want to maintain the safety of that. Having an extra set of keys is really important. And of course, having money, this $10 probably won't take you far, but a little more. Insurance cards, insurance documents, other important papers. Waterproof matches are really important because you might need to start a fire, and there's rain here in Oregon. Whistles are important to notify others of your location if you're stuck somewhere. Hopefully you'll have them with you. And then these are the last couple of items here. They're just comfort pieces, but having a little game, this is a Tetris game, so you can hand it to one of your children, you can play it, pass some time. And then, of course, having some stuffed animals for small children, perhaps it's even for one of your pets so that they have something to occupy their time. So you can make a lot of headway just by grabbing a pillowcase, going around your house, and grabbing a few things. But making sure that we have a kit is really important and will help us all to be more prepared. So thank you.
Thank you. That's very good information. And this information is also available on the website, the Clackamas County website, I believe.
It is. We have a link to our earthquake drill information on the county website and then our emergency management website, which is www.clackamas.us/emergency, has even more information.
Mm-hmm. And as you may have noticed, one of the lead articles in the Oregonian this week was that we really are unprepared for a major earthquake. So there are other ideas on the website on how to be prepared, how to secure things, do a tour of your home and figure out what the major hazards are. Large pieces of furniture, for instance, that need to be secured to the wall, or hot water heaters, etc. So more good information available on the website about how to do that. Be safe, prepared. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a presentation honoring Clackamas County volunteers for their services. We have a number of them here, and we're all wearing our volunteer appreciation sticker, but we have a colorful group of individuals who are volunteers, and Galena Burley is here to talk a little bit about the volunteers and what they do for Clackamas County.
Good morning. I don't have toilet paper with me, but I do have a giant check. I am truly honored to be here today on behalf of our volunteers and volunteer programs. Every day, volunteers in our county donate tremendous amount of service time. They work at local senior centers, at churches.
Oh, excuse me, could you pull that mic down a little bit?
At schools.
Yeah.
Should I start over? At libraries and numerous other organizations. In Volunteer Connection program alone, we had over 700 volunteers working over 160,000 hours last year. Our volunteers provide tremendous support to our social service system. They drove medically fragile individuals to doctor's appointments. They helped financially vulnerable residents pay their bills on time and as such remain fed and housed. They provided respite support to family caregivers, organized Healthy Start playgroups. They enrolled qualified individuals in Medicare plans and distributed food at food pantries. Based on independent sector review, volunteer time in Oregon is valued at approximately $20 per hour. Based on that amount, volunteers just in our program alone gave over $3.4 million in in-kind service. On Monday, our country will celebrate National Volunteer Appreciation Week. This week is a wonderful opportunity to say to our volunteers, thank you again, but also to encourage those who want to volunteer to get engaged. We worked with a number of organizations in our county to establish a number of opportunities for next week where people could get engaged, either as long-term opportunities or one-day cleanup events. If anyone's interested in this information, they could give us a call at 650-5796. And now I would like to present you with a check that was written to the county residents in the amount of money given to us in in-kind volunteer service. And I hope you could join me down here, I guess,
Yes.
to receive the check and for a photo opportunity with our volunteers who are here today. Thank you.
We'll drift in that direction.
Don't forget to endorse that before you leave.
Put a footprint
Okay. You can just pack it in.
have to be in front.
All the volunteers for the photo. Okay. All right. And staff. Everyone. Everybody's all
Mary, you get in there.
I didn't either.
385,727. No change. That's because you said it.
I round down.
Step up.
Can you guys all scoot in more?
Push in. We'll come forward and there'll be more room.
Okay, big smiles over here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Let's do it one more time. What a beautiful looking crowd. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Excellent.
Didn't flash that time,
Let me do one more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Flash. It works.
No, it's a good picture.
Okay, let me do it again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Big smiles. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
There.
Stand still, please. Excuse me.
Excellent. Oh, one more picture.
Come on.
We want one for our old records.
There, records, yeah.
Okay, big smile, everybody. And one more, just for fun.
In case anyone blinked.
Oh, no, it's okay. And body standing there or not isn't gonna matter where we're using this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Who gets to keep the check?
Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, we'll say something now. Well, don't everybody go away quite yet, because we want to talk about you. Before you go.
Not so fast.
We don't want to talk about you behind your back, so stay here. I want to say again, thank you on behalf of the county and the citizens of Clackamas County. And I was going to ask Galina to be sure that maybe you could let our television audience know who they would contact if they were interested in being a part of this vibrant group of volunteers.
We have a couple of different ways to get volunteers engaged, not only through the county, but by connecting them to our numerous community partners. Mm-hmm. People could call 503-650-5796, or if they have access to computer and website, they could go to clackamasvolunteers.org and find numerous opportunities for volunteering.
Okay. And I would stress that my mother was a director of volunteer services when I was growing up, and there are volunteer opportunities for everyone. Whatever your ability level is, whatever your time commitment availability is, whatever your interest area is, there's someone who would love to have your help and service in volunteering. And I think most people who volunteer will tell you that they get as much as they give, or something along those lines, that the opportunity for camaraderie and friendships that develop as a part of being a volunteer network are tremendous. And I often thought there's no excuse for being lonely, because if you're at a time in your life when you want more engagement, there are so many people who would love to have you in some volunteer capacity. And certainly we have everything from working with animals in the dog shelter to working with seniors. And even if you look beyond, think of volunteering beyond just Clackamas County volunteers, the ways to volunteer in the schools, with children's sports, with your church. There are so many ways to be engaged and offer your services, and there's some way for virtually everyone to do that. So and it's very important to the health of any community that it have citizens who are committed. And I thank you for everything you do, because you're worth a whole lot more, really, than that $3 million there. So, and any of the commissioners might want to talk about you also.
Well, we actually could do nothing without the volunteers in libraries and community centers. And one thing that people don't really think a lot about is the fact that many mayors and city councilors are also volunteers. Most of them in Clackamas County, in fact, are. And without those people, too, we couldn't do the business we do. So thank you very much for all you do. And this county is so much better thanks to people like you and the citizens that volunteer and make this the great county it is and the great country it is. Thank you.
Anyone else want to say anything?
I'd like to echo, I think Chair Lehan did a great job of expressing, all those opportunities, and what a great asset that is to our community, and to building relationships and solving the needs of a lot out there who have been compromised in some way. It happens to be Public Health Week as well, and there's a lot of volunteers in public health. Commissioner Bernard expressed folks that work on city councils and so forth, but one of my big engagements in volunteering was on the water district, and come to find out that Shore Leanne became aware of how much the safe drinking water is important to the community and how that affects public health. And there's a number of people that volunteer in so many different ways. It's unbelievable. But it is very heartwarming to know that you folks are out there and you in the audience, as well as those watching us today. And I appreciate everything you do and networking to actually grow this volunteer effort in so many different ways of your interests. So thank you all.
Did you want to say anything? Or you don't have to say anything.
When I was a kid, I remember going around with my mom to deliver Meals on Wheels down in Jackson County. And it was a really wonderful experience for me. And also one of the reasons why I became interested in public service, because I saw how much that work meant to the people whose lives we touched. And so I want to thank you, on behalf of the community who are directly receiving the great services that you've provided as volunteers. But I also want to, as a child of a volunteer and the mother of 2 little kids, I want to thank you for setting a role model for if you have children or if you have relatives who are younger, you are teaching them that is an important way that we live in the world, and that's also an important contribution. So thanks.
Thank you. Now you have permission to leave if you
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is citizen communication, and I don't have any cards today, but this would be an opportunity for citizens to communicate to the commission if they wanted to, perhaps another meeting. And the next item is discussion items, but we have nothing on for that, and so that moves us right into the consent agenda. And I will ask the, we call you the clerk, yes? The clerk to read the consent agenda items by title only.
Under Health, Housing, and Human Services, we have approval of an agreement with Volunteers of America, Oregon, for outpatient substance abuse treatment services. Number 2 is a request for consent for acquisition of the parent company of American Medical Response, Emergency Medical Services Corporation, by affiliates of Clayton, Dubler, and Rice. B, Finance Department, approval of an amendment number 8 to the contract with Sarah Architects for architectural, interior, and engineering service for the renovation of Clackamas County Sunnybrook building and the design of the new evidence processing crime lab. And under elected officials, approval of previous business meeting minutes. And Steve will take the rest.
I'll finish this off. Under D, Business and Community Services, approval of a cooperative intergovernmental agreement between Clackamas County and the City of Gladstone for capital contribution for library services. Section 5, Water Employment Services. Number 1, amendment number 1 to the agreement to furnish consultant services to Clackamas County Service District number 1 for environmental engineering, stormwater, and surface water management services. Approval, number 2, approval of an intergovernmental agreement between Clackamas County Service District number 1, the Surface Water Management Agency of Clackamas County, and the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality for issuance and administration of stormwater discharge general 1200-CN permits. Number 3, acceptance of an easement on behalf of Clackamas County Service District number 1 for Phase 3 of the North Clackamas Revitalization Area Sanitary Sewer Project. That completes our consent calendar.
Thank you. Does anyone want to comment on any of the consent agenda items today or make a motion? Commissioner Bernard.
One quick comment about the Gladstone Library. This is some monies that is coming from the district, creation of the district that will provide $1 million to build a library in Gladstone. Look forward to seeing or to cutting the ribbon for the groundbreaking. Hopefully we'll be invited. And I guess that's the only other comment I had. Let's go. Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Savas and seconded by Commissioner Bernard that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any other discussion? Then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. And that brings us to Commissioner Communication. I have Paul, who's going to make an announcement to begin with here.
Yep.
Or Commissioner Savas, I meant to say.
Thank you. The spring edition of the Citizen News will be in your mailbox this week. Citizen News is a publication that promotes county programs and services and is sent every quarter to every household and business in the county. The current issue is a special edition with even more county information, any new size. Please look for this issue and let us know what you think.
Hold it up. Hold it up.
Hold it up. Yeah.
Oh,
That's what it looked like.
ta-da. That's what I have today under citizen communication, or, excuse me, commissioner communication.
Okay. Commissioner Leininger, do you have anything you want to add today?
Well, I'm excited that we're getting ready to go to the ribbon cutting for the Children's Center, which is an amazing program that does assessments for kids who may have been victims of abuse, and after a long capital campaign during a really tough time for a nonprofit to be raising money. They've just finished. They've completed their building. They've completed the campaign, and today, right after this, we're going to go help them celebrate the opening. So that's a wonderful accomplishment. Congratulations, Tanya Hunt and your team.
Thank you.
Well, I'd like to congratulate Commissioner Leininger on her educational forum yesterday. That was very valuable, and you and your staff got that together really well. And I'm sure all of the people there from our educational community in Clackamas County very much appreciated the opportunity to communicate with other members and to address some of their issues and concerns. So thank you very much. After that, I attended a Transportation Safety Committee meeting, which no one from the commission had ever gone to in 10 years. So one thing I'd like to do is start looking at, what are some of the committees that we might want to attend. This one's very important. We're looking at some money to help support some of our safety issue, or address some of our transportation safety issues in the county. And one of our constituents actually called me about one particular one, which was actually on the agenda last night. So it was a great opportunity to find out that we're actually looking at the situation. Later today, I'm going to attend the Green Light, Greater Portland Green Light and Regional Partners meeting, and we are a regional committee that is looking at economic development opportunities throughout the region. So I'm excited to go to that, and I'm actually on the ballot as an officer. So hopefully we'll be at the table. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I just want to remind people, because we are kind of tight on time here to go open the Children's Center, but I do want to remind people that we are a 5-member commission, not 4. We have an empty seat here, and we are accepting applications through next Wednesday, I believe.
Yes, Wednesday, April 13th.
Wednesday, April 13th, and deadline is 5 o'clock, midnight? What
Actually, midnight.
Midnight.
And you file electronically.
So you can stay up late if you want, and file it electronically.
But don't cut it too close.
But don't cut it too close. No, because we have some excellent applications in already, and we're looking forward to a very good selection of candidates from which to choose the next commissioner to help us with all the important decisions that we make. And with that, if there's no other business before the commission, we will declare that the meeting is adjourned.